Buckle up, cruisers, because this week's cruise news is packed with drama, deals, and some eyebrow-raising decisions that'll get you talking. From a mayor trying to kick a cruise ship out of port to Carnival charging for pool noodles, yes, you heard that right. There's a lot to unpack. Let's dive into the latest updates shaking up the cruise world. Ahoy, travelers! It's Amy here with your weekly cruise news roundup and my thoughts on some of the biggest stories of the week. Coca-Cola is back on Carnival. The line announced this week that it is partnering with the soda titan as its preferred beverage partner across its North American fleet. We are excited to welcome back Coca-Cola's diverse lineup of beverages, which our guests love and which will enhance the food and beverage experience that is always part of a great cruise vacation on Carnival. Both our brands are built on bringing people together, making the Coca-Cola Company and Carnival Cruise Line a perfect partnership. Well, starting later this summer, guests will start seeing Coke products make their way to bars and restaurants across the fleet. Carnival anticipates the partnership will be fully integrated across its North American fleet by the end of September 2025. Carnival ships in Australia already serve Coca-Cola beverages. Now, the line has posted a list of Coke products that you can expect to see on Carnival ships. Coke, Coke Zero, Diet Coke, caffeine-free Coke, caffeine-free Diet Coke, Sprite, Sprite Zero, Barks, Root Beer, Club Canada, Ginger Ale, Club Soda, Fanta Orange, Topo Chico, Tangerine, Lime, and Blackberry, Powerade in Lemon Lime, Fruit Punch, Zero Fruit Punch, and Zero Mountain Blast, and Fairlife Core Power in Chocolate and Vanilla. Additionally, Dr. Pepper will be available on ships sailing from Texas and New Orleans. I'm going to be honest, there's a few of those drinks that I have never heard of before. Now, for those who sail on Carnival, are you Team Coke or Team Pepsi? Let me know. Well, if you were wondering if mega ships would reach a peak amount of cruisers willing to cruise on them, well, it doesn't look like that's about to happen anytime soon, as Royal Caribbean has reached another milestone in its third Icon class ship, the Legend of the Seas. This week, Meyer Turku's shipyard in Finland placed the giant Aquadome in place. This first of its kind Aquadome has taken 8 months to build and is made up of 12 modules with 673 glass panels and 712 aluminum panels. The interior of this neighborhood will have a 220-degree ocean view, a 55-foot-tall waterfall. It'll be a hub for nightlife and, of course, home to the Aqua Theater. How do you feel about these mega ships? Do all the features and activities entice you into trying one? Or do you prefer something a little more sedate for your vacation? Well, on July 3rd, a dramatic standoff unfolded in France when Nice's mayor, Christian Estrosi, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but let's go with it, Estrosi, confronted Royal Caribbean's Voyager of the Seas. New regulations that were effective July 1st limit cruise ships to 2,500 passengers in Villefranche, also again, not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, and 450 in Nice, with only one ship allowed per day and a cap of 65 ships for the whole year. Voyager of the Seas, carrying 3,100 passengers, anchored in Villefranche, prompting Estrosi to board a police boat and demand the ship leave, claiming it violated the new rules. The mayor tried to get on board ship, but the ship's captain refused to let him on board or accept a letter outlining the restrictions. This sparked a lot of outrage. Estrosi called the crew arrogant and vowed to enforce the ban, while Royal Caribbean and the Maritime Union argued that the stopover was pre-approved. The Cruise Lines International Association, CLIA, strongly criticized the actions of the Nice mayor, stating the attempt to board the ship and expel it as apparently illegal and contradictory to the Sustainable Cruising Charter for the Mediterranean that was signed by CLIA and its member cruise lines in June of this year. The association emphasized that the ship's stopover was pre-approved and urged the French government to address the mayor's conduct, which they argued undermined efforts to foster cooperative relationships with local authorities. Wow. This incident highlights growing tensions in European ports, with cities like Venice and Barcelona also imposing cruising limits to combat overtourism. Now, it does raise questions about the future of large cruise ships in some of these popular destinations. Now, while I understand that some locals would want to restrict tourism, especially these large ships that drop off thousands of tourists all at one time, these are still cities with a lot of businesses that depend on tourism. Many of these cities would not be what they are today without tourists. So what do you think about these new restrictions? Carnival Cruise Line recently got smacked with some well-deserved backlash over a surprising fee at their new Bahamian destination, Celebration Key. Initially, they charged $19.99 to rent a pool noodle for the day. Yeah, $20 just to rent a pool noodle for the day. They aren't buying it, not just renting a pool noodle for one day. After guest outcry, including a 1-star review calling it outrageous, Carnival slashed the price to $10.99. And while this is a significant drop in price, many cruisers still question if it's worth paying for a foam noodle that you can buy for under $5 pretty much anywhere else. Interestingly enough, pool noodles are not on Carnival's prohibited items list, so some guests are talking about, or maybe joking about, who knows, bringing their own to avoid the fee. Now, this move follows other controversial charges at Celebration Key, like $14.99 for water slide access, raising debates about extra costs on private islands. Carnival is aiming for exclusivity, but are these fees pushing it too far? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm already not a fan of these private destinations. I cruise to see local attractions, historical sites, and more, not to go to a destination built by the cruise line designed to keep cruisers' money within the line. The one time I went to a cruise line destination was Norwegian's Harvest Key, but I had already been to Belize twice by then, so we used it as a beach day and didn't spend money except for a few souvenirs. Speaking of private destinations, Royal Caribbean's first Royal Beach Club, Paradise Island, is now available to book, advertising all-inclusive experiences for every vibe. Those on ships stopping at Nassau beginning in December of this year can now purchase their all-inclusive day passes. So day passes with unlimited bar and dining start at $170, while those with non-alcoholic drinks and dining start at $130. Don't worry, if that isn't enough, there are also upgraded experiences as well. So is this on your bucket list? I know a lot of people don't go to Nassau because they say there's not a lot going on there. Well, now you've got something to do, but it's basically a resort built by the cruise line. This next story is one that may sound familiar. Norwegian Cruise Line has canceled 41 sailings across just 2 ships, Norwegian Breakaway and Norwegian Prima. This is due to fleet redeployment, and it impacts cruises scheduled between November of 2025 and April of 2026. This follows a pattern, as Norwegian has a history of canceling large blocks of cruises, including over 50 sailings on 4 ships just last November, and multiple voyages on Norwegian Escape, Epic, and others in recent years. The cancellations affect popular Caribbean and Bahamas itineraries, leaving passengers scrambling to rebook. Affected guests will receive full refunds to their original payment method and a 10% future cruise credit for sailings through December 2026. Now, Norwegian hasn't detailed where the ships will be redeployed, but new itineraries are expected to be announced soon. Now, this move is supposedly due to market demand, but it's frustrating for loyal cruisers facing repeated disruptions. Now, have you ever been affected by Norwegian's cancellations? Or maybe what do you think about these changes? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I don't know, and maybe I'm wrong, but it just seems like Norwegian has a lot more of these stories of giant bulk cancellations than other cruise lines. For those of us who not only book cruises 2 or more years in advance, schedule vacations, and start paying off cruises early, this could be a huge problem. Not everyone can make changes last minute, and since some of these are as early as November of this year, that's pretty close to last minute when we're talking cruises. This is especially true when you consider that most cruises have to be paid for 3 months in advance. If you have to reschedule for the same week because of vacation, the cost of that cruise will likely have gone up significantly from when they were first available 2 years ago. More than that 10% that they're offering. So let me know what you think. Am I off base here? Maybe I'm just, for some reason, remembering Norwegian over other cruise lines. Maybe other cruise lines are doing this just as much, but let me know what you think. Since last weekend was the 4th of July holiday here in the US, our next story is appropriate. Holland America line is launching a special 7-day cruise to celebrate America's 250th anniversary on July 4th of 2026. The Zuiderdam will be sailing round trip from Boston. The America's 250th celebration Stars and Stripe voyage includes stops in St. John, New Brunswick, and Norfolk, Virginia, with access to historic sites like Colonial Williamsburg and Jamestown. President of Holland America, Beth Bodensteiner, said, America's 250th anniversary is a singular milestone, and we're excited to mark this historic occasion with a cruise that brings our guests closer to the places where our nation was born. Guests will enjoy Boston's iconic 4th of July fireworks from the ship and an overnight in New York City that coincides with the Sail Forth 250 Tall Ships event featuring over 30 historic vessels. The shore excursions include visits to Ellis Island and the Statue of Liberty. This is a unique cruise that promises a dive into America's patriotic history. So what do you think about this historic voyage? Personally, I wish special sailings like this were announced more than a year in advance. As someone who almost always books 2 years out at least, I already have my 2026 cruise booked and have had for over a year. Well, I hope all of my American friends had a great 4th of July holiday. I was so busy over the weekend and there were so many good news stories that I wasn't able to get everything ready to record Sunday afternoon. Then storms on Sunday night pushed back my recording until Monday morning. So better late than never. I actually had a 3-day weekend due to the holiday. My mom and I took my 2 oldest nieces shopping in the big city on Thursday. We also got mani-pedis. We had a lot of fun, but I ended up staying in the car for the last couple of stores. I had worked all night, so by the time I hit being up for around 24 hours, standing around a store waiting for mom and the girls to go through racks and racks of clothes just wasn't something I had the energy for. On Friday, 4th of July, we went to my brother's house for brunch. This was new for us. The girls cooked us this amazing meal. They are such good cooks. We were able to spend some quality time together as a family. Now, I did not go into town to watch the fireworks that night, though. Maybe I'm just a fuddy-duddy at this point, but after you've seen several local fireworks shows, aren't they just all the same? It just isn't enough to convince me to get out and fight the crowds anymore. I'd be up for a cool drone show, though. Well, are you ready for more information on cruising? Why not stick around and check out this video, and then come back for more information designed to help you have an amazing cruise. Have a blessed week, everyone.